In 2019, this company was worth $47 billion. Investors were obsessed with it. Some even called it the future of humanity. Its founder flew around in a $60 million private jet, drank premium tequila during business meetings, threw money around like it meant nothing, and with absolute confidence he convinced the world that he would change the way people live, work, and even love. But then August 2019 happened. One single document became public, an S-1 filing, a document required to go public on the stock market. And within just a few weeks, a billion-dollar empire started collapsing in real time, turning into one of the most insane and humiliating scandals in Wall Street history. How did a simple business renting desks and office space turn into a cult-like empire that fooled some of the smartest investors on Earth? This is the rise and spectacular fall of. The story begins in New York City in 2010. Two friends, Adam Neumann, a tall, charismatic guy who looked more like a rock star than a CEO, and Miguel McKelvey, a talented architect, noticed something interesting after the 2008 financial crisis. Office buildings were sitting empty. Their idea sounded almost painfully simple. Rent huge office spaces long-term, redesign them with trendy interiors, glass walls, hipster aesthetics, and free beer on tap. Then split the space into tiny offices and rent them out to freelancers and startups for a profit. That's it. At its core, WeWork was basically a sub-leasing business, a pretty boring one. But Adam Neumann didn't want to be seen as a landlord. He hated the word co-working. When he pitched investors, he didn't talk about profit margins or office occupancy. Instead, he opened his eyes wide, waved his hands dramatically, and told people they were building something much bigger, not office spaces, a movement, a we generation, a physical social network that would change human consciousness itself. And somehow, people believed him. But this was the early 2010s. Startup fever was everywhere. Everyone was desperately searching for the next Facebook, the next Uber, the next revolutionary tech giant. Investors were practically begging for a chance to throw money at anything that promised to change the world. And WeWork fit perfectly into that fantasy. The company started growing at terrifying speed. New locations opened almost every week. New York, San Francisco, then London, Tokyo, Shanghai. At one point, WeWork became the largest private office tenant in Manhattan. The company was swallowing entire cities, but behind the beautiful image, there was a terrifying reality. WeWork was burning money at a catastrophic rate. They signed 15 to 20-year leases on buildings, locking themselves into billions of dollars in future payments. Meanwhile, their own customers could leave whenever they wanted because most memberships were month to month. The math made no sense. The more locations WeWork opened, the more money it lost. At one point, the company was reportedly losing around $3,000 every single minute. Any normal business would have collapsed within months, but not WeWork, because Adam Neumann had one massive advantage. Masayoshi Son, the billionaire head of the Japanese investment giant SoftBank. During their first meeting, Son reportedly spent only 12 minutes with Neumann, but that was enough. After hearing Adam speak, Son told him something legendary. "You are crazy, but you are not crazy enough." Then he handed him $4.4 billion. From that moment on, the brakes completely disappeared. And this is where the story stops being a business story and starts feeling like a movie. With billions of dollars flooding in, Adam Neumann began acting less like a CEO and more like a cult leader. Inside WeWork, employees worked insane hours for low pay, believing they were helping save the planet. The company hosted massive multi-day festivals that looked more like chaotic music raves than corporate events. Alcohol flowed non-stop. Adam gave emotional speeches on stage that sounded almost religious. And if an employee refused to drink tequila with the boss, people questioned their loyalty. Meanwhile, Neumann himself lived like royalty. He bought a luxury private jet. According to reports, the environment inside became so wild during flights that crew members sometimes needed oxygen masks. He purchased massive amounts of luxury real estate and openly talked about becoming the world's first trillionaire, an immortal being, and even president of the world. His wife, Rebecca Neumann, became deeply involved in the company too. She helped oversee hiring decisions and reportedly judged employees based on their energy. Some executives were allegedly fired within minutes simply because she didn't like their vibe, and nobody pushed back because the money never stopped coming. WeWork's valuation exploded to an absurd $47 billion. The company looked untouchable, but eventually reality catches up. In August 2019, while preparing to go public, WeWork released its financial documents. Wall Street analysts opened the papers, started reading the numbers, and couldn't believe what they were seeing. Behind the glossy image of a revolutionary tech company was a financial disaster. In just 1 year, WeWork had lost nearly $2 billion, but the losses weren't even the craziest part. What truly shocked investors was Adam Neumann himself. It turned out that he had personally bought buildings, then rented those same buildings back to WeWork, making millions from his own company. And somehow the insanity got even worse. Adam had personally trademarked the word "we." So when WeWork wanted to rebrand itself, the company actually paid its own CEO nearly $6 million just for the right to use the word. That was the moment everything broke. The illusion disappeared almost overnight. Investors realized they had been sold a fantasy. Within weeks, WeWork's valuation collapsed from $47 billion to around $7 billion. The media turned against the company instantly. The IPO fell apart, and WeWork suddenly stood on the edge of total collapse. Adam Neumann was forced out as CEO in disgrace, but even then he somehow managed to walk away with a golden parachute worth over $1 billion. SoftBank literally paid him to leave and never come back. And what happened to the regular employees? Thousands of people who truly believed in Adam lost their jobs almost overnight. The stock options they thought would make them rich became worthless. Then came the final blow, COVID-19. The world switched to remote work, office spaces became empty, and eventually WeWork officially filed for bankruptcy. But the craziest part of this entire story is that WeWork was never really a technology company. It wasn't Apple, it wasn't Google, it wasn't Uber. There were no revolutionary algorithms, no groundbreaking software, no secret technology. At its core, it was simply a business renting office space. But the charisma of one man, wrapped inside massive promises about changing the world, was enough to blind some of the smartest investors on the planet. The story of WeWork isn't just about a failed company. It's about how easily modern society can be manipulated. When someone sells a dream well enough, the bubble finally burst, leaving behind one simple question: who's next? And what do you think about Adam Neumann? Was he a genius scammer or just a visionary who lost control? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe.